Okay, cool. For 5 years, I dealt with knee pain. I dealt with knee issues. I originally had snap kneecap, meniscus issue, and then I had surgery, and then I had ACL, tendonitis, all different kinds of stuff. And for the majority of those years, I couldn't do a leg session without having pain in my knees. And I knew that, okay, if I'm pushing through pain, then it's going to make it worse, which is 100% true. But then I couldn't find a way to be able to not have pain when I was working out, because my muscles were so small. Only my knee would feel the actual workouts when I was doing them. So then it was like, well, how do I get into actually working the muscle without causing the knee any pain, or just working the knee, whatever it is? And this warm up here, which I found from Ben Patrick, and I've added a few bits and pieces myself, is literally the best I've seen. I've literally worked with over 100 clients. Over 10,000 people have downloaded my knee ebook. I've personally used this myself every single session when I did have pain, and I've never seen it not once work if it's regressed to our current level, because the body loves movement. Like, movement is medicine. So if we can get pain-free movement to the area and get some heat there, then it's gonna start feeling better. So before your leg sessions, if you are dealing with any pain or anything like that, or just in general, and this is the best place to start in my opinion. So what does it look like? Like, step one is, I want you to, okay, cool, the exercises, and I'm going to give you exact exercise, but I also want you to understand the principles. So the principles of step one is muscle dominant short range contractions. So for example, in the terminal knee extension, this is a really, really short range of motion for the knee, and we're doing 50 to 100 reps, and we're contracting that quad in its most shortened position over and over and over and over. So this is a way to actually start training the muscle without the knee feeling painful. And if you do 50, 100, 200 reps of this, like, your quads are going to be on fire and your knee's going to start feeling better. The same thing with the sled. I found people find the band and knee extensions more gentle on their knees, so that's usually the starting position for us. Like, if we have pain in the sled, like, that can be done. But then we also have the sled, and again, we can go super slow to start with for this, and then start to speed up as we go through it. But the weight on the sled also goes from 0 to however much, but obviously you have the weight of the sled as well, which is why the band and the extensions are a little bit better, because it's literally only the weight of a band, and you can go in, you can go out, so it's literally not hard at all to start getting some work to the knee without it being painful. And then the third one that I like is obviously the rectus femoris, so the middle quad. We have 4 quad muscles, that's why it's called quad. The middle one is called the rectus femoris, and this is actually a hip flexor as well. So I like straight leg hip flexor raises for this. You can do it lying down. I prefer them standing, but again, it's getting loads and loads of blood flow to the quad. It's this super short range of motion for the quads. We want the VMO starting to feel on fire. We want the rectus femoris to start feeling on fire. We want all the quads to start feeling on fire. So then if they are, that means there's more blood flow to the area, more blood flow from the knee. So the first step is short range of motion, high rep, concentric only movements. And again, do this pain-free, and as you get into the movement over the first minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, it's going to start feeling better and better for your knee. So for this, like, I recommend like anywhere between 100, 200 reps, whatever it is, whichever one of these you are using. And then step 2 is actually going to be looking at below the knee, and again, a bonus for this as well, which I'm going to talk about in a sec. But we find that if we start training below the knee, this actually gives us more confidence to start training the knee. And again, the tib raise, like, the tib attaches from just underneath the knee and goes down to the ankle joint. There's 2 benefits of doing the tib raise that are up against the wall right here. Obviously, you're strengthening that tib muscle, which gives blood flow around the area. So it just gives us a bit more confidence when we're going to directly train the knee. But also the terminal knee extension, and again, the short range in the quads. Obviously we want to keep them as locked out as possible, but you're still getting some work here to the knee. Then we have the KOT calf raise, and you have 2 benefits to this. Obviously, again, it's the blood flow to the calf. The second one is that actually acts as an isometric for the knee. So we're coming to this range where our ankle, again, like, the knee's going to be a limiter if we do have knee pain. So wherever you can bend your knee to without causing it pain, but getting work there, it's going to be amazing for the knee. So the step 2, we have the tib raises and the calf raises, but I also want to talk about the isometric factor of it. Of like, yeah, isometrics are really, really useful for strengthening the tendons, strengthening the ligaments without causing breakdown, which is the same as the concentric dominant stuff. So the KOT calf raises can be used as your isometric, but I also love stuff like wall sits, lunge isometrics, spring ankle isometrics, whatever it is to make your knee feel good. That is what I will use. But usually it gets the job done with the KOT calf raises, and you get the 2 benefits in one, of the calf and the knee. From there, you then have the back of the knee, which is one that's like usually not thought about when we've got pain inside the knee. Like, we see that when people go into the split squat, stuff like that, like they'll have stiffness, they'll have tightness, even if we do all the other blood flow stuff, if we haven't looked at the back of the knee. So the first thing we'll do here is it's a short range concentric dominant movement, but it's for the back of the knee this time, not just the front of the knee, because obviously knee has two functions, knee extension and knee flexion. Obviously it has other stuff as well, but the two primary functions are that knee flexion and that knee extension. So if we can get super loads of blood flow to the back of the knee and the front of the knee, it's going to make it feel so much better. Sorry, you might be able to hear my dog in the background. He wants to play, but I've got work to do. I've got people to serve. So then after we get this blood flow, like 50, 100, anywhere up to 300 reps, to be honest, with this kind of stuff, we then lengthen the back of the knee with the elephant walks. So this is getting this stretch all down the hamstrings, all down the calves. And again, you can regress this by moving your hands up. You can move them to your ankles, you can move them to your knees, but you still want the same motion as that, where you're lengthening the behind the knee. And then when we go into the other stuff, it makes the knee feel so much better. So then it's like, okay, step 4. Let's directly start training the knee now. Like, that was all the warm-up for it. Now, obviously, we're directly training the knee in the lowest levels there, but like this actually started getting that eccentric breakdown. Let's start making sure the knee can adapt to the next session, because obviously the sled, all the other stuff is like strengthening the knee and getting blood flow there, but it's not going to cause that adaptation over time. The adaptation over time is going to come from the eccentric breakdown of stuff. So this includes the step up, but on the step up, short range of motion again, but we're adding this eccentric load. So on the way down is the eccentric. That's where a lot of the tissues are going to break down. So 3 things that you need to think about on this motion right here. So first, assistance. We can use dowels, we can hold on to something, whatever it is, to help our knee with our upper body. If our knee can't even handle flat ground, which mine couldn't, we can then use assistance to take some of that weight off the knee and then just get that work there, and eventually it will start feeling better, So the first thing is assistance. The second thing is going super slow on these reps. So one of our principles is that we work from slow to fast over time. The slower you go, the more your tissues are going to be able to adapt to what you are loading there. The faster you go, the quicker your tendon is going to have to react, the quicker your ligaments inside of your knee are going to react, and that's why we have tears in the football stuff, and we want to work to there eventually. But to start with, we see that people with pain can easily overcome it in certain positions if they just slow down the rep a lot, get less of a range of motion. And the third thing is that range of motion regression. So I had to start on flat ground. As you can see here in this picture, this is just flat ground with a slant board, but you can even take the slant board away and then be on complete flat ground just with your flat heel. And that's going to regress the range of motion more. So then again, it feels easier on the knee, and then you build it up over time. Even with the people that are super advanced, I'll still get them to warm up at lower levels before they get into their higher level stuff for the session of the day. It just makes the tissues feel better when you do go into that later stuff. So even like, you'll even find that if you do this, obviously this is the exact same position as the sled, except the sled's just concentric. So if we warmed up in the sled, like, this should be feeling better. But even if the eccentric's not feeling too good to start with, like, if we just go pain-free movements, super slow, super low, super regressed, and then we wait a couple of minutes, and then we do high reps on that, and then we wait a couple of minutes, like, it usually starts to feel better, like, pretty much straight away. So it's like regressing the exercise to where it's at the moment. And then we go to step 5, which is when we're trying to get this full knee bend. And I don't expect people to get this full knee bend straight away if they have been dealing with knee issues, but something that can really help is voodoo floss bands. If you haven't seen these, like, they're like 15-20 quid off Amazon. They're the only knee treatment I recommend outside the actual, like, knee ability training. I don't recommend anything for my clients to buy other than these voodoo floss bands and a slant board. Those are the 2 main things that I get my clients to buy, and I actually send them out to my clients as well. So for the voodoo floss bands, we just want to wrap it around the knee as tight as we can. This is going to pin down the tendons, pin down the ligaments, pin down the muscles around the knee, and then we can get into the range of motion, and you'll find, like, pretty much straight away that it's going to be feeling a lot better. Like, we can get into a deeper range of motion without any pain. And eventually we want to get rid of this floss band. Like, I don't really use a floss band anymore unless I'm really trying to warm up the knee or I'm recording a video or something like that. Like, we don't want to use it as a crutch. We don't want to really get used to the floss bands and just use them forever, but we want to use them at the start because they can really help increase our range of motion. And then after you do the set, if you take the floss band off, you'll find that because of it's been compressed and the work's been done there, as soon as you take it off, all that blood's going to flow to the knee and it's going to start feeling better again. But yeah, again, I don't want these videos to be super long, so I've given you a 5-step exact checklist to be able to go through on the start of your knee sessions if you are dealing with any pain. I promise you that if you're doing this at your pain-free level, that pretty much in the first session, you'll be able to find that your knee's feeling a lot better when you go into your other work, whatever other work that is, whether that is just the ATG split squat, whether it is the step ups, whether it is something else that your physio is getting you to do. But if you do this warm up before 5-10 minutes, one set of each, maybe even a couple sets of certain things, then your knee, when you go into the actual session, is going to feel so much better. And this was the case with mine. Like, I couldn't find anything that would work. I literally couldn't find anything where I would not have the pain when I was strengthening my knee. It got to the point where I was literally walking 5 steps and my knee was in so much pain. So the thing that I started doing is this stuff with a high rep blood flow, especially the band and knee extensions. They were massive for me. And also turned off treadmills. Like, obviously the gym owners don't like that, so I would recommend the band and knee extensions. But those two things really helped me to find a level that I could actually start training my knee directly at the lowest level possible. So I literally just started with band and knee extensions, turned off dead mill, tib raise, KOT calf raise, and then I'd try to do like flat ground step ups, and then I'd like call it a day there. Like, I wasn't even ready for ATG split squats at certain points of time. And then it got to the point where the better I got on my step up, the better the ATG split squat felt, because it was that knee over toe position, just at different ranges. So then I started doing the ATG split squat at regress heights. And to be fair, like, I went a bit too fast for my ATG split squat a few times, because again, I was in the mud. I was in the trenches. But like, there is ways. If I had these floss bands, if I had the knowledge that I have now to go really slow on my reps, to be able to use assistance, then there is a range which pretty much everyone can work at without flaring up the knee, without causing pain to the knee. But you have to be patient. You have to regress to your current level, and don't compare yourself to anyone else. So yeah, hope this helps. Please use in your next session and let me know if it does help. Drop a comment down below if you want to see any kind of videos. I'm going to be posting every single day for the first 90 days of 2025. So there's going to be a lot of gold here. And if you use all this stuff, like, it's going to be beautiful. So yeah, I appreciate you watching this far. If you have watched this far,